Persaingan bisnis di bidang perfilman tentunya sangat menguntungkan. Namun persaingannya semakin ketat dengan maraknya aplikasi home streaming seperti YouTube, Netflix, Disney+, Amazon Prime, dan semacamnya. Fenomena ini memperderas keran produksi film pada berbagai genre yang dapat diakses secara mudah melalui jaringan internet dan aplikasi. Sebagai contoh, jumlah pelanggan Netflix mencapai 202 juta orang di seluruh dunia pada awal 2022. Dan angkanya terus bertambah hingga hari ini di angka 269 juta pada kuartal pertama 2024. Film-film yang diproduksi oleh negara-negara Eropa cukup dikenal oleh masyarakat pecinta film. Diketahui, kawasan Uni Eropa masuk jajaran ketiga dengan pendapatan box office terbesar di dunia di angka 6,1 miliar US dollar. Sehingga untuk memperkenalkan produksi filmnya, negara maupun box office berupaya menggelar exhibition film di berbagai lokasi. Salah satunya ialah Uni Eropa yang melangsungkan pagelaran film Europe on Screen 2024 di Indonesia.
Oleh karena itu, tim Kuatbaca.com mencoba menghadiri setiap rangkaian acara Europe on Screen yang diadakan oleh Kedubes Uni Eropa di 8 kota besar, termasuk Jakarta, salah satunya di tim. Bagaimana keseruannya? Mari ikuti bersama kami.
Tidak hanya mengenalkan film-film Eropa, Europe on Screen juga menayangkan hasil karya insan kreatif Indonesia yang terus serta memproduksi berbagai jenis film. Kita juga berkesempatan untuk mengadakan sesi wawancara dengan scriptwriter asal Irlandia, Eamon Liddell. Ia merupakan produser sekaligus penulis naskah atas film berjudul That They May Face the Rising Sun yang berhasil meraih gelar film terbaik dalam John McGuire's Award. Mari kita dengarkan pandangannya mengenai hal-hal terkait penulisan dan produksi film berikut ini.
The best book is the book of life.
Yes.
You understand me?
Yes.
I don't think there's any book. I think if you want to become a writer of fiction, you have to read. Not one book, but hundreds and thousands of books. And I would say the same if you want to become a filmmaker, but you also should watch a lot of films. Many films. You should look at films of many genre and films from all over the world. And there is no one book except for the book of life, I think.
Yes.
What motivated me? I'm not sure I have a simple answer to that. I kind of fell into it, if you understand what I mean. I went to college and I studied design, and then I didn't finish that in college, and then I went and I studied mathematics, and then I did finish that, but then when I finished studying mathematics, I had done enough mathematics for a whole life. So I said, but I was always interested in reading, always interested in writing, and always interested in photography, and always interested in recording. And when I was in college, I joined a film society, and we watched 2 movies every week for 4 years, and they were good movies. And the more I watched them, the more inspired I was. And actually, I remember 2 films in particular that kind of blew me away. One of them was Krzysztof Kieslowski's film, a short film about killing. And when I came out of the cinema after seeing that film, I said, maybe I should make films. But even before then, I had read many books. I was always interested in reading. So I take every project as it arrives. You know, I don't decide I want to make a biopic or I want to make an adaptation. Just about adaptations, I have written 3 of them so far, and I do enjoy that a lot. And I think the novelist has done a lot of the work for you in the beginning. And interestingly, John McGahern, the man who wrote That They May Face the Rising Sun, he said in an interview, I heard him say once that when you come to the end of writing a novel, you could very easily write a sequel because you know your characters so well that you could put them into any situation and know how they would behave. And when you're making an adaptation of a novel, he has already given you these characters. So that I think it's a little bit easier possibly to make an adaptation than to make a film completely fresh. Because you know these characters so well that you can, if when you need to change something, when you need to write a new scene, you know, it's not that difficult to set that scene in motion because you know the kind of characters that you have. So adaptation is very enjoyable for that reason. Well, the first 3 films I made were drama, not documentary. So I started making drama, writing drama, and I've never made any drama that I didn't write myself. So I made short films, but then I don't see a huge difference. For me, they're all films, and in the same way that horror and comedy are different genres, documentary is also a different genre. There are different rules, I suppose. You have to take real life as your material, but you still have to be just as creative with it as you are in drama. So I never felt that I was now in drama and now in documentary. I was always doing both. And yeah, I think when you're even though your material for documentaries comes from real life, you still have to be very creative. You know, I don't think of documentary film as journalism. I'm as far away from journalism as it's possible to be. You know, if you look at someone like Werner Herzog, you know, Werner Herzog, the German filmmaker, very famous. He made documentaries and he made dramas. And you know, people say that journalism is the first draft of history. And that's not what I do, and that's not what he does. He's not interested in the factual truth, he's interested in the ecstatic truth. And so, you still have to make a beautiful work of art. That's the aim. It's not to report on reality. It's to make something beautiful. That's the aim of documentary for me. Now I know that other people make documentaries and they just want to inform you about a subject. But for me, information isn't enough. It has to be creative, and it has to be artful, and it has to stand on its own. Filmmaking ultimately is problem solving. Maybe that's why it's good that I studied mathematics. But it's always a problem to be solved, always things to figure out. And editing, writing and editing, the 2 things that come one before a shoot and one after the shoot, they're all about organizing the material in such a way that it works.
Nah, menarik bukan? Sehingga dalam hal ini, film tidak hanya bisa dilihat sebagai video sinema dramatis saja, melainkan ada pesan dan kultur yang hendak dibagikan kepada masyarakat secara luas. Nah, Europe on Screen dalam hal ini seakan menjadi ajang pengenalan budaya serta European value kepada masyarakat Indonesia. Berdasarkan pantauan kami, kuatbaca.com, kami melihat masyarakat Indonesia memberikan atensi positif yang besar dengan meramaikan setiap agenda penayangan film dalam pameran tersebut. Saya Muhammad Tadi Pamungkas, jurnalis kuatbaca.com. Goodbye and au revoir.